And welcome back to now episode 8 of the Roll the Tape podcast. I'm your host, Jackson White, alongside
Aiden McNally
and Jalen McKissick.
Of course, last week we didn't have an episode because Thanksgiving, but we're back here with the Roll the Tape podcast. Today we're going to be talking about, are the Cowboys legit contenders? Who we got winning Coach of the Year? Are the Steelers legit without Matt Canada? Jalen Hurts now the MVP favorite, and our update on the NFC South picks.
And for the NBA, we have, are the Magic legit? They are rolling right now. Who do you think will advance to the next round in the in-season tournament? Where should Pascal Siakam and Zach Lavine be traded? And what's wrong with the Warriors?
And for our ending segment, we have our games of the week. We have 49ers at Eagles, Seahawks at Cowboys, Broncos at Texans, and Chiefs at Packers. And we have our patented starts and sits of the week.
So let's get right into it and let's roll the tape. Obviously, Week 12 of the NFL season was this past week, so I'm just going to go over scores real quick. On Thursday, obviously, Thanksgiving, so a few games got played. Packers defeated the Lions 29-22 in a close game there. Cowboys blew out the Commanders 45-10. And what's the corner's name they got? NFL record?
Bland.
Pick sixes in a season. It's Week 12. That's insane.
I think he might be the favorite for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, we might have to talk about it. We might have to. 49ers blow out the Seahawks. Geno Smith a little banged up. 49ers win big. Going to Friday day football. Dolphins win big 34-13 over the Jets. Going to Sunday, Colts win 3 straight games. They knock off the Buccaneers 27-20. Giants versus the Patriots. Giants won that one 10-7. That was probably the worst game I've seen all season long. Steelers versus Bengals. Obviously, this is the Steelers' first game without Matt Canada, and they've had 400 total offensive yards. They didn't score much. They win 16-10 with the Joe Burrow-less Bengals. Titans knock off the Panthers 17-10. Frank Reich fired after this game. Titans win that one. Jaguars beat the Texans in a close game 24-21. Falcons knock off the Saints 24-15 to take lead in that division. Rams beat the Cardinals in blowout fashion 37-14. Kyren Williams, welcome back. He was RB1 in fantasy after coming off IR and missing 5 straight weeks. Broncos win over the Browns 29-12. They've won 5 straight, the hottest team in the NFL. And then finally for the 4 p.m. games, Eagles beat the Bills in overtime 37-34 in the game of the week. Sunday Night Football, Chiefs, that's not Sunday night, but getting to Sunday Night Football, Chiefs beat the Raiders 31-17. Sunday night, Ravens beat the Chargers 20-10, and then Monday Night Football, Bears beat the Vikings in a ugly but defensive battle on Monday Night Football. Moving on now, I now like to welcome back in Jalen and Aiden and talk about the Dallas Cowboys, who just won 45-10 over the Washington Commanders. How legit are the Dallas Cowboys?
I mean, you could make an argument that they are the best team in their division over the Eagles. I think you could start an argument with that. They're 8-3 right now. They're playing the best football they've played in like 2 years. Dak Prescott is playing the best football he's played in a while. And I mean, 45-10. 33-10, 49-17. I mean, those 3 games, that's like a 80-point differential over their last 3 wins. They're rolling, and their schedule on like throughout the rest of the season is pretty hard. But that's what's gonna really show us what the Cowboys are all about. Because if they can finish with a good record with this hard schedule throughout the rest of the year, I think they can definitely be contenders and a threat in the playoffs for sure.
I think it all depends on Dak Prescott, and Dak Prescott is playing his best football almost of his career at this point.
He's absolutely dominating.
I mean,
NFC Player of the Month, by the way.
Usually it's his interceptions that get him in trouble. But right now he's only sitting at 6, which is pretty good for already being in, Week 12?
Yeah.
That's pretty good for only being in Week 12. Only 6 interceptions, 70% completion percentage, almost 3,000 yards already, 107 passer rating. I mean, Dak Prescott's been balling.
Yeah, Dak Prescott, I mean, you have to look at it and really consider Dak Prescott as one of the guys for MVP. Obviously, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I think the top 2 guys for MVP right now are in the same division. And
you think so? You think Dak's over Patrick Mahomes right now?
Yeah, I would say that. Dak Prescott right now has been playing out of his mind. In the month of November, 13 touchdowns to 1 interception. That's it's safe to say, a very good rate. He's turning over the ball at an elite level. He's not turning it over. He's scoring at an elite level. Their offense is good. Their defense has always been good. Even with Diggs going down, obviously Deron Bland came out of nowhere and has been one of the best corners in the league. Stephon Gilmore's over there. I think the Cowboys are second to the Eagles as the favorite to win it all. And then, the Cowboys, 49ers are right there with the Eagles. But I think the Eagles are atop of the mountain right now. But 49ers, Cowboys, right there, right below them. The Eagles.
I would agree with that.
But the Cowboys, if Dak Prescott can keep this up, who's going to stop him? Really?
Nobody.
Because
Nobody.
Jalen Hurts is going to turn over the ball. He's done that in games. He's turning over the ball way too much. And if Dak Prescott isn't, they can score at will. It just all comes down to it. Will Dak lose them the game? And so far this season, he hasn't lost them one.
I think as long as Dak keeps the ball in his team's hands, not the other team's hands, they can go as far as they want, even in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because last year, remember, he was the leader in the league in interceptions.
Yeah.
And this year,
he didn't play all the games last year.
yeah, and not even close. And so if he can keep winning those turnover battles, I really don't see a team in the league that can really beat the Cowboys as of right now.
You go down to it and you look, and are the Cowboys contenders? And it really comes down to, obviously, we mentioned it even in previous podcasts, their strength of schedule at the end of the year is rough.
Yeah.
You look at it, they go and they play Seattle next week. They play Seattle tonight, Thursday Night Football, at 8:15, and then they go next week, and guess who they play? The Philadelphia Eagles. And that is going to be the telltale game of, are the Cowboys legit? Because if they can go and beat Philadelphia at home, meaning they're going to tie the series with the Eagles and basically knock off the league's best team, that tells me everything I need to know going into the playoffs. Then they play Buffalo. Even though their record is kind of shaky, they're still a really good team. Then they go and play probably the highest powered offense in the league in Miami. And then you go and play a really good Detroit team. And then you win the season, obviously, versus Washington. And we saw what they did.
Yeah, they got to run the gauntlet.
They got to run the gauntlet. But if they can run the gauntlet, they might be the favorite to win it all.
Oh, yeah. If they come out of here with only like one or two losses.
One loss, maybe.
One loss.
Ooh.
Man, you can't not put them in that conversation.
So you think they'll be able to finish with 13
I
wins?
think they can
13
definitely they can come away with just one loss out of those teams.
Really?
I think
all those are going to be battles.
The Eagles game, I think, is a toss-up. Every other game there, I think they'll win.
Yeah,
I think they'll beat Detroit.
I think they should be the favorite.
I think they'll beat Miami. I think they'll beat Buffalo. I full-heartedly believe they'll beat Seattle tonight.
Yeah.
So time will tell. But I would say if they can go beat this gauntlet-type style at the end of the year, I think they could be the favorite to win it all. But moving on to Coach of the Year. Who do you guys have right now as your favorite to win Coach of the Year?
Shane Steichen. I don't care if it's not my Colts bias. I swear it's not. But Shane Steichen is doing unbelievable things in Indianapolis. To not have Jonathan Taylor for the first 4 weeks of the season and then still be good. To not have your starting quarterback for the past, how long has it been? 6 weeks?
They haven't had a AR since week 5.
Since week 5. That's almost 7 weeks. You're winning
yeah.
games with Gardner Minshew at quarterback.
And I'm somebody who watches the Colts every week. I'm a Colts fan.
Yeah.
I make that pretty obvious. But Gardner Minshew is not a good quarterback.
No, he's not.
He's a good backup, but a starter, no.
No, he's
Man,
not.
he gets back there, and I get so scared when he gets those happy feet. And if they're winning games with Gardner Minshew at quarterback,
and Shane Steichen's offensive schemes,
he deserves a little bit of thing. He's a wizard.
He's a wizard with those schemes. He makes Gardner Minshew look like a top 10 quarterback sometimes, just because of how his schemes are drawn, just because of how his offense is drawn up. His defense is playing at the top level right now. Obviously, that's not all him. Gus Bradley's back there.
But I don't know. They changed up something. They lost to the Saints.
Saints.
Ever since then, they have changed up something defensively.
How many games is straight? 3?
Yeah, 3 straight.
3 straight.
And they haven't won 4 straight, obviously, since Andrew Luck, 2018.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and then it's a pretty easy strength of schedule for the rest of the season.
If the Colts make the playoffs, I would agree with you. I think they have a chance. I think Steichen would win Coach of the Year. If he gets this Colts team without Anthony Richardson, with Jonathan Taylor, who's going to miss probably next 2 weeks, and everything that's happened, releasing Shaq Leonard midseason, all the drama that's happened.
Especially with people saying that we don't have elite weapons. People don't like to claim. I've seen a lot of people claim that Michael Pittman's not the number 1 wide receiver. I don't know.
Michael Pittman's a top 15 receiver.
Exactly, but people like to say that he's not a true number one.
He's a true number one, and he'd probably be at number one for, I'd say, 15 of the 32 teams in the league.
That's true. So to do that with this type of offense that he's been given, it's just phenomenal.
And just making up this offensive line that was bottom 5 this year, turning basically the same players into a top 5 offensive line just in a year is crazy.
He's a wizard.
With the whole entire offseason with Anthony Richardson, I think the Colts will be a very good team next year. But to Aiden with your coach of the year.
Yeah. Now that's a very good argument, but
and I haven't even said mine. I'm not going Shane Steichen.
Yeah, let's not get carried away here. There's probably five coaches that could probably win it over Steichen. Matt Canada is up there for sure. No, I'm just joking. For me, it's between D'Amico Ryans or Ryan, Dan Campbell, and Mike McDaniel. I think the favorite right now is Dan Campbell. He turned to a team last year. This is a team 2 years ago that won three games, and that was his first year. We knew they were going to be bad. Next year, turns them into a positive record for the first time in who knows how long, with a 9-8 record. This year, they're already 8-3 heading into Week 13. They already have basically the same amount of wins this year as they did total last year. He's turning this team into a playoff-ready team. He's turning Jared Goff back into his college, his prime Rams days. He's establishing the run game perfectly with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. We laughed at him.
Elite running game, by the way.
Elite running game. We laughed at him. We thought it was funny that they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs after they signed David Montgomery. Well, turns out he was a genius all along. He turned a bottom defense last year into one of the best defenses, probably a top 10 defense this year. I don't know. I think Dan Campbell is really the favorite here. Now, D'Amico Ryans is obviously up there for sure, too, turning an awful Texans team, like a 2-3 win team last year, already having 6-7 wins this year and
you can
competing.
say the same about Shane Steichen.
I think D'Amico Ryans and Shane Steichen are like in the same tier of if they make the playoffs, then they almost certainly deserve it.
Yeah.
But if they don't make the playoffs, then they probably won't get it.
I just think the Colts. Here's the thing. I think the Colts have had more success over the past few years.
That's true. The Colts do have a better team on paper.
D'Amico Ryans has honestly proved a little bit more. I mean he's turned C.J. Stroud into.
C.J. Stroud is top.
I don't know if he turned him into. I think C.J. Stroud was just like that to begin with.
I don't know.
I always liked Stroud coming out. I thought he was the best quarterback in the draft.
End of the story. I think it's Dan Campbell for me.
I like that pick.
I'm gonna have to obviously, against unpopular demand, I'm gonna have to say Nick Sirianni.
Okay.
The favorite. I mean, if you look at it, who's going to win it? If the Eagles don't lose another game this season, they go 16-1. He's going to get Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
As much as I think he is very corny and a goofball, but if you look at it, if you're going 16-1 with the team coming off a Super Bowl loss, which doesn't happen usually after a Super Bowl loss, teams regress a little bit. It just always happens statistically. No team's ever started 10-1 after a Super Bowl loss ever in the history of the league. If he keeps this team and if they lose 1 or 2 games, let's say they only lose 1 more, I mean, he's going to get Coach of the Year with a record of 15-2 or 16-1. As much as I'm not a fan of Nick Sirianni, he will get Coach of the Year.
Yeah, he's probably the favorite. Can't lie.
Because even though I'd like to say someone else, I'd like to say some other people, but statistically looking, and I mean, when it comes down to it, who's the favorite? It probably is, in the NFL eyes, Nick Sirianni.
I would say so.
But moving on now to the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that nobody thought would be at all in playoff contention. Nobody thought would be good at all this season. Kenny Pickett, is he a franchise guy? Is the offense good? Matt Canada, offense coordinator, well, he's gone now, and the Steelers are 7-4. Are the Steelers legit without Matt Canada running the offense?
I know one thing, that defense is legit.
And that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Hey, the saying goes, defense wins championships.
Ultimately, with Pittsburgh, I think it goes as this. Obviously, the highlight, Matt Canada fired. They have 400 yards offense. They still only scored 16 points. Yeah. Let's not back to like they just went out and dropped 49. I mean, they didn't. They didn't drop 40.
They did have 400 yards of total offense.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The most in a while.
Yeah, they haven't had that in like 50-something games, which is absurd.
Yeah.
But they scored 16 points. I mean, let's just be honest. 16 points ain't going to win you a game unless you're playing it. If you're not playing a team that doesn't have their backup quarterback, you're not going to win scoring 16 a game.
That's fair.
That's just how it is. That's just how it is in this league. Their defense is legit. Their offense isn't good. I don't think they're legit. I think the Steelers are fakers. If they go in the playoffs, they'll be one and done. I don't think Kenny Pickett 2 gloves is any good.
Kenny 2 gloves?
I think he's a bottom 30 quarterback in the league. I put Kenny Pickett and Mac Jones in the same area right now.
That's fair. For me, I definitely think they're fakers, and I hate to say it because this is such an interesting team. We've never seen a team like this that puts up averages like 16 points a game and still is 8-3, 9-3, whatever they are.
7-4.
7-4. But yeah, you look at their history here over the last 4 games. They beat the Titans, who is led by Will Levis. They beat the Packers, who's led by Jordan Love. He beat the Browns, they lost to the Browns, who were led by Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and then they beat the Bengals. Yay! But did they have number 9?
To safe to say, they haven't played out of those 4 teams. Those are not good teams.
Will Levis, awful quarterback. Jordan Love, awful quarterback.
Okay.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson, awful quarterback.
He's bad, and they lost.
Jake Browning.
He's really
bad.
bad.
Name, right?
Jake Browning.
Yeah. Jake Browning, awful quarterback. Next week they play the Cardinals. This week you are facing the Cardinals, who are terrible. Yes, I know they have Kyler Murray back, but if you do not beat them, if you do not put up at least 20 points and allow no more than 10 points, you're fakers to me. You just are. If you win this game by a stupid score of like 17-13, 17-10, you're fakers. It's the Cardinals. If you are playoff contenders, if you want to go far in the playoffs, you got to beat a team like the Cardinals.
They got to score at least 20.
Like 27-10.
At least 20.
If they fail to surpass 20 points in this game against a Cardinals defense, he's been shaky, good sometimes, bad sometimes, but inconsistent. I don't know. You're fakers to me, and you were not winning a playoff team. It's going to turn out like whatever it was, 2018 against the Browns, whenever you lost like 41 it was like 34-0 at halftime against Baker Mayfield. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you don't score 20 points against arguably the worst defense in the league, you're not scoring 20 against any of the actual teams you got to face in the playoffs if they make it. Which at this point, I mean, they're obviously in right now. But I feel like there is some teams that are down there. Like the Bills can turn on at any time. The Texans can still come on. The Broncos are rolling right now. I mean, any of those teams can just jump up.
They blow out the Steelers, let's be honest.
Any of those teams can jump the Steelers if the Steelers start to slip. So I don't think the Steelers will sustain. I mean, no, their schedule's pretty easy, actually. I mean, I'm looking at it right now.
It's Patriots, Colts, Bengals, Seahawks, Ravens.
So basically,
it's like
you're facing the 4 backup quarterbacks in a row, and then 2 hard games.
Yeah, so yeah. I think it's 2 that they should win and 4 toss-ups. Really,
yeah.
Or 2 games that they should win, 3 games that they should lose, and 1 toss-up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
so.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes with the Steelers.
Yeah, I think time will tell with them. But if they don't score over 20 on the Cardinals, oh my. If they lose to the Cardinals, that'd be crazy. But now let's get into it with our MVP favorite. Is Jalen Hurts the MVP favorite? Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes? Who is your guys' MVP favorite?
My NFL MVP favorite right now, it might be Dak Prescott. It might be. Coming last year from a performance that he led the league in interceptions, didn't even play like 13 games last year, to leading a team that we thought was going to be good, but we didn't think they was going to be this good. We didn't think Dak Prescott was going to be this good. If you ask me right now who's having a better season between him and Patrick Mahomes, I think Dak Prescott is having a better season than Patrick Mahomes to their standards. If Dak Prescott can finish, like we said, with 1 more loss on the year, I think it's got to be Dak Prescott.
I probably agree because, like you said, Dak Prescott's having arguably a better year than Patrick Mahomes right now. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has more interceptions than Dak Prescott. Who would have thought that would have happened?
Yeah.
Nobody thought that Dak Prescott would have less interceptions. Now, granted, it's only 2 less, but just to have less than Patrick Mahomes is it's an achievement. And if the Cowboys continue to roll, I don't think there's anybody that can contest with them unless the Eagles continue to roll, which is why I'm going to go ahead and pick Jalen Hurts because I think the Eagles will continue to roll and possibly finish 16-1, 15-2, maybe. But if they finish like that, Nick Sirianni's Coach of the Year, Jalen Hurts MVP.
Yeah, well, you guys picked two of the guys that obviously are up there in MVP. So I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm going to pick C.J. Stroud to win MVP.
I love it. I want him to win
I want him to win it, too.
C.J. Stroud has taken a Texans team that was bad last year, and he's second in the league in passing. 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I'm a Colts fan, and I'm picking C.J. Stroud. He just won AFC Rookie of the Month, AFC Player of the Month. What's next? MVP. At least offense. I don't know. He's going to win something. And he's going to win it. I'm going to say C.J. Stroud for MVP.
Yeah, I don't mind the pick.
I want him to win it so bad. If there's a player that I want to win, like that's in contention right now. Obviously, if I were to pick any player that I'd want to win, I'd probably pick Justin Fields.
Oh my!
Okay, no, I'm just saying out of any player. But the player that I want to win that like actually is realistic and makes sense right now, out of like the 6 quarterbacks, it would be C.J. Stroud. I'd want him to win it over Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa. Like I want him to win it over all of those guys. I really do.
Yeah. But finally, before we switch it over to NBA, we're going to talk about something that we've kind of been discussing all season long. Update on our NFC South picks. And, yeah, you might be like, why are they talking about the NFC South? That's the worst division of football. I don't even want to watch an NFC South game. Well, we like to talk about the NFC South. Let's get right into NFC South standings. Looking at it right here.
I'm first.
Yeah, okay, buddy. So, obviously, all three of us, we decided to go and pick different teams in the NFC South. This is like a segment now. This is a comedy segment because this isn't real. Like, this division doesn't exist. But I picked the Buccaneers. Aiden picked the Saints. And this guy over here picked
the Falcons. Number
the
one.
leaders. Okay, the Falcons. Nobody picked the Panthers. But okay, so you look at it right now. Currently, the Atlanta Falcons lead this division at a losing record, by the way. Losing record. That's insane. 5-6. They just beat the Saints, who also have the same record, 5-6. And then my Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off a tough loss to the Colts for their 4-7. And the Panthers, they don't get discussed. So they're 1-10.
What do you mean? They could still host a playoff game.
They could.
I saw that. I saw that video too, and that
crazy.
was insane. Every team would have to lose out, like all of them. But okay, that would be insane.
There's always
but
a chance.
just imagine.
It's not.
But
Anything's possible.
It's not
no.
happening.
But we look at it right now, and yeah, I mean, the Buccaneers have lost 2 straight. The Saints have lost 2 straight. The Falcons have won 1 straight. But all these teams, their last 5 have a losing record. I mean, this is going to be an up for grabs division. I think it's going to come down to it, and I'm going to stick with the Buccaneers.
I'm sticking with the Falcons.
The 4-7.
You're sticking with the Buccaneers.
You still think the Buccaneers are going to pull this out?
Yeah, I think they have the best team out of the 3.
I can't disagree that they might have the best
So
team.
so you look at it, and I'm going to talk about the Buccaneers for a second.
I think it's still the
I
Saints.
think the destiny is in the Buccaneers. They play the Panthers twice, so that's just 2 from wins. Because
What make the Falcons good?
Nothing. They don't even use their
Bijan
skill
Robinson.
players. They don't even.
Okay,
Bijan
other than
Robinson
Bijan, what is
They have
he?
a good defense. Their defense isn't
Their
bad.
quarterback situation's bad. The best QB in this division is Baker Mayfield.
No, it's
And yet they're
Derek
still
Carr.
5-6.
Derek Carr's great, and then he throws a pick 6.
Derek
He'll
Carr,
get you down the field.
Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield right
No.
now. I think so.
No.
Yes. Are we forgetting who Derek Carr is?
Yeah, Derek Carr, who has played in how many playoff games?
Derek Carr.
Oh, sorry. You
has-
can't say any. He got hurt the one year they made it. He's played in 1 playoff game, actually, because he did
What
a cool
has
timeout
Baker Mayfield
celebration.
done throughout his whole career?
He's led the Browns to almost beating the Chiefs.
He did almost do that.
Okay, but other than that, what?
That's about it.
That's about it.
That's
But
literally
hey,
it.
but what has Derek Carr done?
Nothing. But he's made Pro Bowls.
Okay.
Derek or
Wait, is Baker
Baker
Mayfield made a
Mayfield.
Pro Bowl?
Yeah, Baker Mayfield made
Being
a Pro Bowl.
Was
Yeah.
it the year they took them to the playoffs? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, Derek.
Pro
I'm
Bowls,
looking this up.
statistics,
How many
wins. Let's look at wins. Derek Carr or Baker Mayfield.
winning is
Or
not a QB
both
stat.
are
He's a 4-time Pro Bowler.
okay.
Baker Mayfield's like a 1-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, but right now, looking at it, Baker Mayfield's better than Derek Carr.
Right
No,
now,
he's
this season.
not.
Right now,
This season, Derek Carr.
No, he's not.
Yes.
There's an argument.
Derek Carr is not good.
Yes,
Not
he
anymore.
is.
He's washed. He's finished.
Before Derek Carr's shoulder injury against the Packers, they were like 3-1
Yeah, but now he's finished.
because of one shoulder injury.
Derek Carr's not that good anymore. I watched.
Baker Mayfield will not win you a playoff game in 2023. He just won't.
And Derek Carr won't either.
I think he could.
We're having the battle of the mid right now, okay?
They're both in the same
Both
tier.
these teams aren't winning a playoff game. Both these teams might not even score in a playoff game. Let's just be honest. This division is bad.
It's terrible.
That's why the
But
Falcons
I
are number
still
one.
think the Saints are number one. I think the Saints will be the best. I still think the Saints are the best team in this division. I do.
On paper, I think the Bucks are the best team.
Yes. The Bucks had the best team. They're the best receiving core, the best running back, besides Kamara.
Best offensive line.
Best offensive line, best defense.
They just suck.
Their coach is bad. Todd Bowles is
Todd
not a
Bowles
good
is
coach.
They're bad. They're not good because of Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is holding them back.
I wouldn't say it's all Baker.
So what do you want him to do? Put in Kyle Trask? No.
Hey, it's an idea.
It's an
Baker
idea that's
Mayfield is
not
obviously
going to
better
work.
than Kyle Trask. But I don't know if they had any other quarterback in the league besides Baker Mayfield, Kenny Pickett, Mac Jones.
So Baker
and
Mayfield
Brock
on the
Purdy,
season,
I
let's look
think-
at it. Baker Mayfield has thrown 17 touchdowns to 7 interceptions and 2,500 yards. Now let me look up your boy Derek.
I already have him pulled up. Don't worry about it. Baker Mayfield's thrown 2,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Wait, what? You said 17 touchdowns, 7.
Well, he meant Derek Carr. Derek Carr,
I meant Derek Carr.
10 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. So Baker Mayfield has thrown 7 more touchdowns and only to 2 more interceptions.
And Baker Mayfield has a higher QBR.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield's 18th. Derek Carr's 22nd.
18th and 22nd. Okay, I still.
Also,
Okay,
7 more
to
touchdowns.
lead a team right now.
7 more touchdowns.
To be the quarterback of a team right now.
Being
I
a
would
quarterback
pick-
and
I
playing
would pick
12
Derek
games and only
Carr.
having 10 touchdowns is insane. By the way, Anthony Richardson has 8 touchdowns.
Derek Carr's played all 12
And he has
games, though.
played a total of like 2.5 quarters.
Derek Carr hasn't played all 12 games,
He
though.
hasn't played all 12 games.
Yeah.
He missed like 4 weeks.
I don't think he missed 4. I think it was like 2.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He's played 11 of
Okay,
the
he
12
missed
games.
1.
He missed 1.
He missed 1.
And Derek Carr has not thrown a touchdown since November 5th, by the way.
Okay, enough about the mid off about quarterbacks.
I mean, they got Alvin Kamara back.
He still hasn't thrown a touchdown since November 5th. I've thrown the same amount of touchdowns as him in the past 2 weeks.
I think Derek Carr is if you were to watch a Saints game and if you were to watch a Bucs game, you could tell Derek Carr is a more poised pocket passer. He is more decisive. Baker Mayfield sometimes runs around like a headless chicken. Baker Mayfield doesn't know what he's doing out there sometimes. That's why they're 4-7. Baker Mayfield, if they have such a great wide receiver core and a great running back room with Rashad White, then why do they have 4 wins?
Defense. I mean, also their
You
coaches.
just said they have one of the best defenses in the league. So what is it
I
then?
mean, they
What's
do have
wrong?
a good.
I think it's Baker Mayfield.
I think it's their coach.
On paper, they have
What
the
has
best
Baker
defense.
Mayfield done that's bad? He had a QB rating of 93 versus the Colts, had 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He did not play bad in that Colts game, and he had a really gruesome ankle injury in the first quarter.
He didn't play bad. I thought he was going to come back and win against this. Can't lie.
Yeah, I did too.
But to pick a quarterback to lead a team right now, I think
I don't know. I think they both give you the same thing. I think they both give you the same thing.
They're both not great.
I don't think
I
either of
both
them.
wouldn't pick them if I want a team.
I don't think either of them.
I wouldn't pick either of them, but I'd pick Derek Carr over Baker.
I don't think
Mayfield.
either of them moved the needle for you that much.
No, but like I would still probably.
Derek Carr was moving the needle before he got hurt. He was like 3-1, and probably going to be 4-1 against the Packers, but he got hurt. That's the whole reason that they lost the game. Derek Carr is a valuable player to the Saints.
Well, like you said Derek Carr was playing really good in their first 3 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
In his first 3 games, he threw 2 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Statistically, he's bottom 5.
Statistically, but if you were to watch a game, watch a game.
I don't want to watch the Saints.
Okay, then
I watched the
then
Saints
that's your
live.
issue.
I
Have you
watched the Saints
have you watched a
live.
Buccaneers game?
Yeah.
Other than the Colts game?
Yeah, I watched a few. It's not Baker. I think the play calling is really bad in Tampa Bay.
I think
Todd
it's bad
Bowles
too.
is bad.
But if you have,
I don't know why he's the coach.
If you have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, like Rashad White, and a good offensive line and all these weapons around you, and you still only have 4 wins with what you said is one of the best defenses in the league. I don't know. I don't understand how you only have 4 wins. I think if they have any other QB in the league besides like the bottom 5 quarterbacks, I think they'd have like 7. I really do.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to come down to this, okay? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers played the Panthers, Falcons, Packers, Jaguars, Saints, Panthers. All these teams are going to play each other. So
Falcons to the moon.
this is This is going to be a interesting conversation in probably 2 weeks.
Falcons to
Yeah.
the moon.
After the Buccaneers play the Panthers and the Falcons, if they can beat both those teams, they're probably going to be atop the division. If they lose one of the two, they're probably done.
You know what? I take back what I say. If the Falcons make the playoffs, Arthur Smith for Coach of the Year.
Oh my!
No.
Get out of here, Arthur
Mr.
Smith.
Not using his top.
I
10
have
overall
Kyle
pick.
Pitts. Nah.
Jonnu
Johnny
Smith.
Kyle Pitts, nah. Bijan Robinson, nah. Tyler Algier. Drake London, nah. I'm good.
They've used like first rounders on straight skill positions and don't use them.
Yeah, I know.
Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson.
Like
That's
I would do
your whole
anything for Kyle
offense.
Pitts on the Colts. I would do anything for Kyle Pitts.
Kyle
on the
Pitts under the
Colts.
Shane Steichen system would be a top 10.
And with Anthony,
top
Anthony
5
Richardson. Oh,
Oh my
my!
goodness, it gives me chills.
But instead, we just rock out with Mo Alley Cox.
Big Cox. I mean, pause, but you know what I mean.
Jelani Woods has disappeared from ever being seen, and the Falcons don't even use him. They use a 32-year-old tight end who didn't even start for the Titans last year.
Hey, don't sleep on Patriots. Jonnu Smith.
Paige Jonnu Smith was a different breed. Can't lie to you.
Yeah, like 4 years ago.
Back when he was still young.
All right, but let's get out of
Yeah, let's get out of the mediocrity.
let's get out of the mid. Let's end our funny segment for the day. Let's talk about the NBA because a lot of stuff's going on in the NBA right now. It's actually NBA is heating up. This in-season tournament's fun. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But first, we're going to talk about the hottest team in the NBA, a team that I had to be a top 4 seed. I had them 5. I had the Pacers 4, top 5 seed, and none of you guys had this team high, but I did. The Orlando Magic are one of the best teams in the NBA, 13-5, and they've won 8 straight games. How about them Orlando Magic?
I mean, Franz Wagner and Paulo Banchero
Balling.
20 points for Franz, 19 for Paulo. Good efficiency. I mean, this team is just so well put together. And I saw the vision in the beginning of the season, but I thought they were still one more year away. I thought they were still lacking a little bit at the point guard position because Cole Anthony, he's solid. He's not a true point guard. Markelle Fultz, he's been injured a little bit, but he's still solid.
Whenever he comes back, I mean, he's a good player.
And Jalen Suggs looked terrible last year. I mean, not terrible, but he didn't look like a lottery pick last year.
He is a
He looks
defensive
good
monster
this
this year.
I mean, this team is just very well put together, and they could definitely make. If I'm a top 5 seed in the East, I don't want to see them in the
They're
playoffs.
going to be a top 5 seed in the East.
Well, if I'm a top 3 seed in the East, I don't want to see them.
I don't want to see the Magic at all.
I wouldn't want to see them.
Franz Wagner's that guy. He's a great player, and
He is that
Pablo
guy.
Banchero's coming back. Cole Anthony's guy, who in their last 8 wins is averaging 19.
And don't forget about the resurgence of Goga Batadze.
Oh my God! Get that
All right.
bozo out of my
All
eyes.
right.
But Goga Batadze is my
He's
least
leading the team in
favorite player.
blocks.
Okay, yeah. If I was 7'2" and looking like him, I'd lead the league in blocks too. Lead the team in blocks too.
Resurgence of Goga
he's
Batadze.
so bad.
Hey, without Goga Batadze, they would not be as good of a defensive team as they
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
Well, I would agree, but yeah, and
Resurgence.
obviously Moritz Wagner, whatever, like
Mo
Just
Mo
call him-
Wagner.
Just call him Mo Wagner.
yeah, like
Or
Moritz I've
Wagner. I think it's Wagner,
whatever. He's balling too. He's
Wagner.
playing really good.
the German.
the German. Is that German?
Franz Wagner, Moritz Wagner.
Are they both German?
Yeah, they are.
And obviously Wendell Carter's been hurt too, so he's
That's
not
true,
even.
but that's
he's
why
not even-
Goga Batadze.
Get that guy.
Hey, I mean, I think what a team needs to go far late down the stretch is depth, and they have that in literally every position.
Yeah,
I
That's
mean,
true.
guards they have Fultz, Cole Anthony, their 6th overall pick, and Anthony Black,
and he's
Jalen
looked good at
Suggs,
times too.
an old Gary Harris, but he's a veteran.
Jonathan Isaac.
Joe Ingles, who can shoot, he'll knock you down.
The Jingles.
He'll knock you down a couple corner threes every once in a while.
The Jingles.
You have Paulo Banchero, Jonathan Isaac, Wendell Carter Jr.,
Franz Wagner.
Mo Wagner, Franz Wagner, Goga Batadze. I mean, this team is deep in every position,
Don't
and
forget
I
about
think
Jet Howard.
G League legend. Anyway, yeah, I think the Magic have literally every piece
Yeah.
to be good, and I don't even want to know if they're good this year with still a young Suggs, a young Wagner, a young Banchero, a young Cole Anthony, a young Anthony Black. I don't even want to know what they'll be in three
Yeah, they can
years.
Keep this core
Th-
together.
This
that's
is this could be a dynasty.
It could be. I don't know. If I'm in the Eastern Conference, I'm starting to circle. I'm starting to circle the day you play ORL because it'll be
That's gonna be a long
rough
day.
a rough day for you. I think they're definitely starting to come up on the radar.
They're a scary team.
They are a
But
scary
moving
team.
along now to the in-season tournament, and we eventually have the bracket, the top teams in this in-season tournament. This bracket I'm looking at doesn't have. Isn't there wild card teams in this bracket?
Yeah, the wild card teams are the 4 seeds.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
There's
the
only
wild card-
two.
There's only 2.
Oh,
One from each
more you know.
conference.
Well, we got 8 teams left in this thing. Yeah, I'm learning every day, But going over to the Eastern Conference, you have the Bucks taking on the Knicks, and then you have the 2-seeded Pacers taking on the Celtics. Going over to the Western Conference, you have the 1-seeded Lakers versus the 4-seeded Suns. That's going to be a good game. And then the 2-seeded Kings taking on the 3-seeded Pelicans. Let's start in the Western Conference with the first one. You got Lakers versus Suns. Battle of the Titans, LeBron versus Durant. Who we got?
I got the Suns. Kevin Durant is playing at an MVP type of level right now.
50% from 3,
50% from 3 is insane. Even if Bradley Beal doesn't play in this series or in this game, Devin Booker's still good. He only scored 5 points last night. I saw that. It was either
It was
5.
8. It was 8. He scored 8 points last night. Yeah, that was crazy.
He was like 4 for 14, 2 for 12, so one of the two. But if D-Book is playing like that, this team's not going to win a lot of games. But
he'll bounce back.
I think he'll bounce back against the Lakers, especially in a playoff environment. But then again, LeBron James in a playoff environment, that's not a man you want to see. So if AD can also come up and turn up for one game, Mr. Inconsistent himself, I mean, I don't know. This could be a game for the ages, but I got the Suns.
And if we remember the last couple times these two teams have met, the first time they met, I'm pretty sure they've met twice, right?
I think they've met twice, yeah.
Yeah, one in-season tournament, one was like the 5th game of the year.
Yeah.
But anyway, that first game, they lost by like 3 or 4, and that was only Kevin Durant. If we remember, Kevin Durant was the only one putting up shots. It was basically a 1v5 out there, and the Suns still only lost by 3. They did lose to the Lakers in the in-season tournament by 3, but that was Beal's game coming off of injury. If they can get, I don't think Beal will play, but if they can get all 3 of those guys on the floor, I don't even think this one will be close. But if they don't with Devin Booker and Durant, I think it'll be close. Devin Booker will definitely have to put up more than 8 points. And they're probably going to have to see some performances from role players, but I don't know. I think it'll probably chalk it up to the Suns, in my opinion.
I'm going to take the Lakers. I'm going to go on a little bit of a limb. I think we see MVP LeBron returning this one. He wants this tournament pretty bad. Lakers on the season been kind of mid so far. They haven't been amazing. They've been decent. If you look at it right now, the Lakers 11-8. They're 7-3 though in their last 10. But I think we see vintage LeBron in this one, and I think the Lakers are going to possibly win it all. So I'm going to take the Los Angeles Lakers. D'Lo, he had 35, 38 last night. So Lakers are rolling after moving, what's his name, Austin Reeves to the bench. Moving along now to the Sacramento Kings taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. 2 younger teams, obviously a 2 and a 3 seed going on. And I'm going to have to say, I'm going to take the Sacramento Kings. Even though the Sacramento Kings are not necessarily not playing as good as they were last year, they're still 10-7, still 7-3 in their last 10. They've been solid. They haven't been playing to what they were last year. But I'm going to have to say the Kings, Domantas Sabonis. The Pelicans don't really have a big who can guard Sabonis. Obviously, you say you could put Zion on him, but Zion's not necessarily a defensive prowess against post moves. So I'm going to say the Kings.
I'm taking the Pelicans. Zion is playing out of his mind right now. 24 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 56% from the field. I mean, this is what you want to see out of Zion. After he hasn't played a lot the past couple of seasons, he's come back and he is leading this team. Obviously, they're only 10-9, but they did pretty good in the tournament. And if Zion can have a great performance, I don't know if anybody on that Sacramento team is guarding him. And along with hopefully CJ McCollum's back. I know he's been injured. I don't know if he's coming back for the game. And then Brandon Ingram. This is just a great built team. And if Zion can turn up, I think they win this game.
And you can't go without saying the third and rookie of the year
Jordan
odds
Hawkins.
right now. Jordan Hawkins, he's balling out. But as well as the Pelicans and Jordan Hawkins are playing, I'm probably going to have to chalk this one up to the Kings. This New Orleans Pelicans team just kind of screams mid at me for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'll ever be able to see the New Orleans Pelicans as a good franchise, but the Kings are a team that know what it's like to play in pressure, as we saw last year in the playoffs. The Pelicans don't really they haven't really played in many, stuff is riding on this game type of games. So I'm definitely gonna have to give this one to the Kings. I think they're not playing the best basketball they could be, but I still think we're waiting on the best performances from them. But with Sabonis playing like how he is right now, I think he'll be able to control Zion. And without Zion, I think the Pelicans are nothing. So, well, not nothing, but a lot worse. So
yeah, I feel that.
I'll give it to the Kings.
All right, moving along now to the East bracket. The top 4 teams are going to go Bucks versus Knicks, 1 versus 4. And I think we're all going to pick the same team here. I think I'm going to take the Milwaukee Bucks. The New York Knicks are iffy, to say the least. The Bucks have Giannis, and that's my take. So continue.
That's a good take. Just because they have Giannis. That's it. I'm probably going to go with the Bucks too. I mean, Dame, Giannis, Chris Middleton is playing great. Brook Lopez is playing great. Just the whole team is playing great. And then the Knicks, Julius Randle is bad.
He's not good.
Julius Randle is bad.
The Knicks on the season, let's just look at it real quick. 10-7. Oh, but the Bucks 13-5. They've won 8 of their last 10. I would have to say Bucks for all of us.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Bucks. My only reasoning is the Bucks have a guy in that wears number 34, and the Knicks have a guy that wears number 30, and that's all I need to say.
The Julius Randle slander continues on the Roll the Tape podcast.
Also, just real quick, Julius Randle is the most random three. Why was he in the 3-point contest?
That was insane.
Terrible, and I'd never want to see him there again. Thank you very much. Go on to the next segment.
It's like we're putting Zion in the 3-point contest or something.
I feel like Zion would have hit more threes than
Yeah, I think I could have hit more threes than Julius Randle.
I don't know. I guess they just asked everyone. Everyone said no. They had to go last. Put Miles Turner in the 3-point competition over Julius Randle. But moving along to the final game of this quarterfinals, the undefeated in their conference, the Pacers taking on the 3-seeded Celtics. Obviously, the Pacers have the front runner for MVP in this in-season tournament with Tyrese Halliburton. So the Pacers, a team that went undefeated. The Celtics also went undefeated in their bracket as well. This is going to be a good one. The Pacers have lost games they should have won this season, and their defense is bad. But in this in-season tournament, they just seem to turn up, and I don't understand. So with Tyrese Halliburton leading the pack, averaging 25 and 12, which is unheard of. 50-40-90, by the way, which is unheard of. Never happened before. Never will probably happen again. Tyrese Halliburton is a top 10 player in the league, but they're going up against a team that has 2 top 10 players in the league, and a fringe top 10 player and a top 5 player in this Boston Celtics, a team that blew them out by 50. Obviously, Halliburton didn't play. He's going to play in this one. I'm going to take the home team. I'm going to say the Pacers, who have been dominant in this tournament. I'm going to say they win. I could be very wrong, but they just got a vibe in this tournament. They might never win an NBA championship, but they might win an in-season tournament championship. I'm going to take the Pacers.
Yeah, for some reason the Pacers just happen to get all plus 15 attributes in every category whenever they play on a different colored court. For some reason, I don't know what it is about that. Tyrese Halliburton has been playing unreal. Definitely, you can see what's wrong when he's not playing. Obviously, they lost by 50 to the Celtics last time they played, but that was without Halliburton. But this is what I'll say. Halliburton will give you offense, but he won't really give you much on the defensive side of the ball, which is why I think Jason Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, I think they'll all have pretty good games against this Pacers defense. Like I said, if Tyrese was playing in the Celtics game, instead of 150 to 100, it'd probably be 140 to 120. But I mean,
I would say 130 or more points will be scored for both teams in this game.
I would say
Oh yeah, it's all offense, no defense.
There's absolutely no defense that's going to be played in this except maybe a Miles Turner block and a Kristaps Porzingis block, and that's it. But the Pacers have this one at home, but the Celtics are just too deep. They just have too good of a roster. I think it's not hard to put them down in this one, but it's the Boston Celtics. They've been playing unreal, and I don't know. I think for the Pacers, it's really just gonna have to be Buddy Hield if he can hit or not. If all these role players can hit or not. If Benedict Mathurin gets a 20 bomb, at least 20, I think the Pacers will win.
I think it comes down to if Benedict Mathurin steps up.
And Buddy Hield. I feel like if Buddy Hield, he'll give you his 20% from 3 nights, but he'll also give you your 60% from 3 nights. And I think if it's a 60% from 3 night for Buddy Hield, and I think if Mathurin steps up and gets at least 20, I think it'll be the win for the Pacers. But I don't know if that's going to happen. So I'm going to have to give it. I'll give it to Celtics, yeah.
One word, and that is offense. And you know who has the best offense in the league?
By a lot.
By a lot. It's the Indiana Pacers. That's all I need to say. That's all I need to say. I'm taking the Pacers.
The thing is, in this league, well, whoever scores the most points wins.
Exactly. Who scores the most points?
The Pacers.
Indiana Pacers.
If they have the first overall offense, then how do they have like 7 losses?
Defense. We have the last defense.
So defense matters too.
Well, no, they don't have the last. You have the Pistons and the Wizards.
Okay.
Killian Hayes, by the way.
Bottom 3.
Hayes,
bottom 3
MVP
defense.
candidate.
Anyway, you outscore your opponent, you win the game. That's all that matters. Pacers by 1,000,000.
Hey, there we go. All right, obviously there's a few things we're going to have to skip because we're a little short for time, but next week we're going to talk about it. We're going to end it up, ending segment, games of the week, switching back to NFL. We're going to talk about it, games of the week, and there's some good ones going on. Obviously, this Thursday night, Seahawks taking on the Cowboys. Seahawks 6-5, Cowboys 8-3. Thursday night football. Who you got?
I got Eagles. No, actually, no.
Nope.
I lied.
Cowboys Seahawks.
Oh, Cowboys Seahawks?
Starting Thursday night.
Oh, starting Thursday night? Okay, my bad. I'm taking the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cowboys, too. He got a team that's not even playing in this game, but
I was a little bit happy to talk about
I'll take the Cowboys. I'll take the
Eagles and the Cowboys Seahawks game tonight.
Yeah, hey, there you go. But moving on Sunday, Eagles versus 49ers, and this is probably going to be the game of the week. This is going to be a good one.
At 4:25 in the afternoon.
Ooh, it should be Sunday night. But
irrelevant.
Whatever. I'm going to go to limb, and I'm going to take the 49ers.
I want to take the 49ers so bad, but it's so tough. I kind of want to I feel like it might be the Eagles. As much as I want me to be wrong, I think it'll be the Eagles.
I'm taking the Niners. Brock Purdy is going to ball this game.
500 yards, 6 touchdowns.
If he balls out, he is back in the MVP conversation.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If the 49ers win this game, they're the favorite.
Yeah.
For the championship or just for the NFC?
For the favorite.
Super Bowl or for?
Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
The bowl, the big one.
I can agree with that. I can live with that.
This is the in-season Super Bowl.
In-season Super Bowl.
Technically
that was last week.
Technically, that was last week. That was Eagles Chiefs last week.
Well,
but that was the worst game of.
I think the 49ers, Cowboys, and Eagles are all better than the Chiefs. The Chiefs have no receiving core.
I don't think the Chiefs are that good. It's really just Patrick Mahomes and then a bunch of McDonald's.
Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey, and that's about it.
Yeah, and a bunch of guys who probably could work at McDonald's. But moving on, Broncos versus Texans, the hottest team in the NFL, and the Denver Broncos won 5 winners of 5 straight. And then obviously the Houston Texans, with having a very good rookie quarterback, also 6-5. I'm going to take the Denver Broncos to continue their winning streak. I really like the Denver Broncos. Their defense has been phenomenal. If they can contain C.J. Stroud from escaping the pocket and making plays, throwing the ball long, I'm going to say the Broncos won this one in a big fashion.
I agree. If the defense can handle C.J. Stroud, limit him, C.J. Stroud is really all the Texans' offense really has. And Tank Dell. If they can limit C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell, I think it'll be an easy win for the Broncos.
Let's not forget about Nico Collins, but continue.
That's true. Wide receiver 1. I'm going to go with the Texans. I think C.J. Stroud is going to dot up the secondary. The secondary is not even bad. I just think C.J. Stroud is just like that. So
he's that fella, I guess.
He's just that fella. And D'Amico Ryans has this team playing great right now, especially that defense. So Texans.
And finally,
why is the Chiefs and Packers? How is that a game of the week?
Because it's a week. Okay.
Also, it's a primetime game.
It is a primetime
game.
But hey,
I'll give it to the Chiefs by 30. That's my take. I hate the Packers. I hate the Packers, and I hope they lose out. Thank you very much.
Bears fan, by the way. Final game of the week here: Chiefs versus Packers. Chiefs 8-3, Packers 5-6. I'm going to say the Chiefs by a good margin. The Packers, I do think, are getting better, but I don't think they're that good. Chiefs by 14.
I want to be a little different here.
No, stop.
I'm joking. I'm taking the Chiefs by 1,000,000.
Yep. This game will be Chiefs 87 to Packers -10, and the Packers will lose out with a 5-12 record, and Jordan Love will prove that he's in fact McDonald's.
Average Bears fan.
Yep.
Average Bears fan, by the way. A Bears team that probably won't even get 6 wins this year.
Hey, if we get 6 wins, I'll be happy. That's double than what we got last year. So hey, that's progression.
All right. Starts and sits of the week, NFL Week 13. Let's get right into it. My first start is going to be Ramondre Stevenson. Ramondre Stevenson has had 26, 13, another 20-point game, and they're playing the Los Angeles Chargers. A very bad defense. Their run defense is even worse. Even though the Patriots are a bad team, they play Bailey Zappi. Check down Merchant. Stevenson's going to get involved. I expect him to have a big day. My sit of the week is going to be Puka Nacua. The Rams receivers have struggled of late a little bit, and they're playing the best defense probably in the league when it comes to secondary in the Cleveland Browns. I would say sit Puka Nacua.
For my start for the week, I will give you Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back Rachaad White. He's playing an awful Panthers D. They're 1-10. They're just terrible. They just fired Frank Reich, their head coach, so the whole organization is just a dumpster fire right now. Nobody knows what's going on. And I'll give you Deontay Johnson for my sit. He's playing a Cardinals team that's starting to boot up a little bit with Kyler Murray. Obviously, they're not anything to be worried about, but they will probably show progression with Kyler Murray's third week back after his ACL tear. And Deontay Johnson is starting to lose snaps because of his effort issue. Did you guys see that play?
I saw, where he walked away.
Where he walked away on a fumble. Yeah. I don't know what's going on in his head, but I don't know. I'll just give you a sit because that does not look good for him.
For my star, I'm going to have Zach Moss. He's playing the Titans. Last time he played the Titans, 165, 2 tuds. I mean, no Jonathan Taylor this week, possibly for 2 weeks. So I think he's to start for the next at least 2 to 3 weeks, as long as Taylor's out. And for my sit, I'm going to have Matthew Stafford. And there's only one reason why I'm sitting Matthew Stafford this week, and his name is Myles Garrett. That's about it.
Thank you very much, and have a
Thank
good
you
night.
very much.
Hey, there you go. But as always, thanks for joining us, episode 8 of the Roll the Tape podcast. Of course, go follow us on all social medias, Roll the Tape Sports, brand new name. We changed it up a little bit, going to officially a brand now. Follow us on TikTok for sports takes that aren't in the podcast. Follow us on Instagram as well, Twitter. Roll the Tape Pods still is the Twitter. But thanks for joining us. As always, it's been fun. Until next time.
Yes, sir.
See you.